This has been the scene inside India's parliament since the session began last month, with opposition members disrupting proceedings, demanding the resignation of senior ministers over their alleged involvement in several scandals. The session failed to find agreement, and the issues still remain. One of them looked at amending the country's child labor laws by legally allowing children to work in their family business outside school hours. On the eastern edge of the capital, Afsana's children work alongside her. This piece of embroidery takes an entire day to make and will earn the family just under $3. Had the bill passed, Afsana could legally put her children to work.
My husband works, but he makes very little. If the kids didn't work, it would be hard getting money to feed and raise the family.
Child rights activists see the bill as a loophole to legitimize child labor. They say there's no definition of a family business.
We found in our recent study 8,000 children who are already working in these sorts of establishments when it isn't even legal. So imagine what would happen, how companies might like to push manufacturing and outsource more of the work into homes if we did have such a law in place.
Because the bill is postponed, none of these issues have yet been addressed, let alone debated. Besides creating a headache for the government, the bills not passed this session, including one on juvenile crimes and another on transgender rights, are at risk of being delayed or abandoned altogether. Even for the bills that do make it to the next parliamentary session, they'll have to compete for time and attention from other potential legislation.
No, I think the government can do...
Parliamentary experts warn that simply pushing the bills to the next session not only potentially waters down the bills, but also the legislative process.
Scrutiny would get reduced, Parliament's effectiveness in the legislative process will get reduced, important issues that members would have wanted to highlight would get reduced, and the government would be in even more pressure to get legislation through because they've already lost 4 months because the bill did not get passed in the previous session.
That means for now, the people behind the issues the bills are meant to address will remain in limbo. Faiz Jamil, Al Jazeera, New Delhi.
Well, joining me now from Hyderabad is Mohan Guruswamy. He's a former Indian government advisor. Thanks for being with us. So the child labor law bill is just one of many, as you know, that hasn't been passed. As a former government advisor, what would your advice be to Modi?
Well, I think, you hit an impasse in Parliament. The two sides are very adversarial. They don't talk to each other. Competitive politics have become, politics of enmity. And so, Parliament has broken down. There's no discourse. Parliament is meant to be a place where there is discourse. And I think the Prime Minister, the leader of the House, Prime Minister Modi, should take the initiative to talk to the opposition and to initiate a dialogue with them. This has never happened in India before. Earlier also we had powerful, vociferous oppositions, but the leaders of the House always maintained good social contact with the other leaders. Indira Gandhi used to be in touch with
something clearly that is not happening now. So what are his options to get things back on track?
He should take the initiative. He just can't sit in a sulk. He can't, he was in Parliament the whole of yesterday. He didn't say a word. Now he has got to break the logjam. There is a serious issue here. If there's no discourse in Parliament, then somebody has got to take the responsibility for it and take the initiative. And he is the leader of the House.
What is this inability, some people saying ineffectiveness of Modi to be able to pass through reforms mean for the country and also for international investors?
Well, it affects India everywhere. It affects India most within. There is a very alarming drop in confidence in Parliament, in institutions of Parliament, the ability of government to get things done. And so, all this is going to hurt us. And I think foreign investors are also looking with some kind of anxiety as to whether, they can invest in India. So, there are all kinds of ramifications of it. Basically, laws are meant to improve society, and they are not happening.
All right, Mohan Guruswamy, we appreciate your time with us on Al Jazeera. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.